Gold Derbyites, I'm here with Amanda Spears, Tony Ruiz, and Zach Laws, and we're here to talk about the drama series categories. It's going to be a complete and utter bloodbath, I think, a revolution, so to speak. I've never been more excited about drama. I'm feeling very dramatic. So I'm going straight to Amanda. I want to know, what do you think we should be looking out for in Best Drama Series?
Can This Is Us get a writing or a directing nomination? Because I think they made a critical mistake, one, in not submitting the pilot in either of those, and two, they submitted like 6 or 7 in each category. And as we learned last year, that's not a good strategy. They're going to get themselves canceled out. And those are critical nominations if they're going to win Best Drama Series.
Okay, Zach, do you agree?
I do. To Amanda's point, you look at what's up for directing, for instance, and you look at what we have as the top drama series, right? So there's 2 submissions from Stranger Things. I think both of those can get in. You've got a submission from Westworld that's certainly going to get in. Better Call Saul, The Americans, Homeland always gets a directing nomination. So I just named off 6 there. There's also the possibility of The Leftovers getting a nomination for that last episode. The Crown certainly is going to probably get a directing nomination for Stephen Daldry. So yeah, I mean, This Is Us is sort of on thin ice in that category. Then you go over to writing, again, those same shows and then some. So yeah, I mean, for us to call This Is Us the frontrunner, I think is a little premature, considering that it's probably going to cancel itself out in those writing and directing nominations with so many submissions and not the pilot. I mean, if you're not going to submit the pilot, fine, just submit Memphis for writing and directing or one other episode and have that be it. You're a first season show on a broadcast network. Don't be so filled with hubris here, folks.
Tony, what do you think about This Is Us?
I think This Is Us, first of all, the drama series category in and of itself is such an open, there's at least 4 possible winners, and we'll talk about that later. But as far as This Is Us, for it to win, it would be it would have so many obstacles to overcome. No broadcast series has even been nominated since 2011. No broadcast series has won since 24, and that was back in 2006. And most importantly, This Is Us is a family show. I wrote about this just recently. It's a family drama. It's got a core family at the center. No family drama has won Best Drama Series since The Waltons in 1973. So, I mean, for us to be calling This Is Us a frontrunner, I think is so premature, because, and we have to remember that This Is Us, as passionate a fan base as it has, it's also doesn't necessarily tick off the Emmy snob factor the way shows like The Crown and Handmaid's Tale and even Stranger Things to a certain extent do. So I think This Is Us has a real uphill climb.
And I think what you have to remember, especially with directing, is that with new shows, almost exclusively they've won with their pilot. The only exception to that is True Detective, and you guys probably already have the episode in mind as far as what I'm thinking with the tracking shot. So if they had just submitted Memphis, that would have been fine. And shame on Better Call Saul for not learning their lesson from last year, because if they just submitted Chicanery, they would be in both of these categories, which is like, basically this is the whole season of Better Call Saul. It just led up to that episode, and then there was a downfall afterwards. I don't know how This Is Us can win when I think they probably are going to cancel themselves out.
Yeah. We should also say, I mean, I think that we're all, there's at least 5 new shows that I think everybody has on their lists of getting into drama series. We may differ on some of them, but by and large, it's This Is Us, The Crown, Stranger Things, Westworld, and The Handmaid's Tale. I know that there's some variation there as well. Can you think of a time where in recent Emmy history where there were that many first season shows in the Best Drama Series lineup? I mean, we really need to be thinking about which of those 5 are the 2 strongest.
Yeah.
and could join the ranks of Better Call Saul, The Americans, House of Cards, Homeland, and Mr. Robot.
I know. This is like, I've never been more excited about drama series. Obviously, Game of Thrones taking a year off really has just completely opened the field. And let's just say, by the way, because we've all just debated This Is Us, I agree. This Is Us is it's definitely in as a nominee, I think, but they've really stuffed up in terms of their nominations, and it's not afraid. It will not be a front runner, and I think all of that talk is so premature. Anyway, I agree, Zach. This is so exciting, and what I also love, not only are they all new, there's so much genre in this. There's so much. It's like fantasy, sci-fi has really taken hold of this category, and a few years ago that would have been maybe even unheard of. So. I think that I don't have Westworld in there. That's the only one of the ones that you listed that I don't have in there, and I've just decided to switch that with The Leftovers just because I'm obviously on drugs. But yeah,
I'm the same way, Rob. Actually, I don't have Westworld in there either. I have The Leftovers in there.
Really?
I think it's going to be one of those two shows for the HBO entry.
Yeah, I now I have permission to go to Leftovers. I've been trying to justify making this.
We did it. Yes, I thought it was just me out on a very shaky limb because you know what? I just think the timing is right for The Leftovers. It's deafening, this noise about how it's been ignored. It was ignored last year, which was so sad, especially for International Assassin. This time, it's aired at just the right time. It had the right buzz. HBO doesn't really have a lot of other drama series in contention, obviously. Westworld is there. It aired a while ago. Is that really... I don't know if the buzz is hot on that one. And so HBO will definitely be in the list. It absolutely will be in the list, but it's probably maybe going to be The Leftovers. I don't know. I'm kind of touching wood and I'm getting very nervous.
Well, look at what happened last year with The Americans.
Yeah.
For years, we were all saying, why isn't this show a part of the best drama series lineup? Why is this show getting shafted? And then finally, in the fourth season, it just became too deafening for them to ignore it. The thing about Westworld that kind of makes me wonder if it's still going to get in is that I think it's going to have a lot of below-the-line support.
Yeah.
And I think it'll probably get nominated in the directing category as well and possibly some acting categories.
Jonathan Nolan's well enough known.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes me wonder if it's going to still get into drama series and maybe replace one of the other contenders, because honestly, the only two from last year that I have coming back are Better Call Saul and The Americans.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, I've got Crown, This Is Us, Stranger Things, and Handmaid's Tale. But I could see Westworld replacing one of those. Even Leftovers.
What do you think, Tony?
I think that that's a distinct possibility. We do have to consider the below the line nominations, but I do think some of the possible returning shows are vulnerable. I think House of Cards is vulnerable.
Totally. Yeah.
I think we were all shocked when that Homeland hasn't dropped off sooner. But I still feel like that this is a race at the top between four shows. I really think it's going to be between The Crown, Stranger Things, This Is Us, and possibly, very, very outside chance, The Handmaid's Tale. If they can get over their stigma about Hulu. Hulu hasn't really broken through the way that Amazon has with Transparent and Netflix has with a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. But if any show is going to do it, I think it's going to be The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, it's those four, isn't it? I think they're the ones that are kind of battling for the trophy. And the Hulu thing does hurt Handmaid's Tale, but man, imagine if that was on HBO, we would be saying right now that it's the front runner, I think.
And I think the social relevance of The Handmaid's Tale, I mean, they've got people dressed as handmaids and
in the White House, and yeah.
It's broken through. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I'm just going to talk over you and say that I think that the issue of misogyny in the show.
Just passionate. That's all it is.
It's resonated in a way this year that I think any other year it might not have resonated so strongly, shall we say.
Zach, just please don't tweet about my facelift, okay? That's all I ask. But I also want to know, I want to say this as well. A few months ago, especially when The Crown first dropped on Netflix, most of us were making noise about how that seemed to be just a clear-cut winner. It won awards all over the place, the Golden Globes, the SAGs. It's such a beautiful show. It's such an expensive show. It's so in the snob appeal kind of mentality that we find with Emmy voters. And yet now it seems that it's died off a bit. Why? Why is that?
It's just a little bit of timing, but you know what? They've been very smart in all of their Emmy submissions. They went very streamlined. Even in the acting, they only submitted 5 actors. And if all 5 of those performers get in, and I'm not talking just Claire Foy and John Lithgow, if Matt Smith gets in, if Jared Harris gets in, if Vanessa Kirby gets in, then there is your drama series winner. Because we know it's probably going to be the leader amongst nominees on the drama side. If it's not them, it's probably going to be Stranger Things because they'll have some CGI or something.
Yeah.
But if they get all 5 of their actors in, game's over. Because we know they're going to get a writing nomination. We know they're going to get a directing nomination. They're probably going to get casting.
Costume.
I think if they get at least, yeah.
Go for it, yeah.
I think if they get at least 4 of those 5 out nominated, I think Matt Smith is probably the least likely to get nominated just because drama actor is
well, if you look on the ballot,
race.
He's actually in a good space on the ballot because if you're going to look for Kevin Spacey, you're going to see Matt Smith on the same page. So he's not in like a bad spot. I'm just saying, if you're scrolling down, you're looking for Kevin Spacey and you see Matt Smith 2 spaces up, you might go, oh yeah, he was really great on The Crown. He's not off on a page by himself where you would have to be looking for him, is my point.
And I mean, just to put this out there, I think that, we're all predicting Sterling K. Brown to get nominated for This Is Us. And, he's got competition within that category from Milo Ventimiglia, who nobody is predicting right now. But I'm going to tell you, just as somebody who lives out in Los Angeles and goes to a lot of these events, Milo Ventimiglia is a super nice guy, really charming, kind to everybody that he meets. He's been out there campaigning with this show. He's sort of the face of the show for everybody. So those 2 could cancel each other out. I mean, nobody really has him in there, but I mean, he could siphon some votes away, and that could work in the favor of somebody like a Matt Smith who's trying to edge in there.
I would love to see Milo Ventimiglia. I voted for him at the Gold Derby Awards. Everybody please make sure you go and do that. He is fantastic in This Is Us. That would be wonderful to see him there. Can we just maybe move on to drama actor? We're kind of running out of time. That one is not as exciting for me because it looks like a lot of returnees will be probably in that category. Does anyone have anything that we should be watching out for on that one, apart from Sterling K. Brown, which most of us seem to have him in first place?
Look out for Billy Bob Thornton.
First place.
Yeah, I have Odenkirk in first place too.
Look out for Billy Bob Thornton.
From Goliath. Okay.
I'm just saying, of the 16 past Golden Globe winners, not including John Hamm, since when he won the second time he wasn't eligible, only 1 winner has not gone on to compete for the Emmy, and that was Kelsey Grammer on that little network called Stars.
Don't go there.
From Boss. So he's one that, don't be shocked if you hear his name. He's a past nominee. He's an Oscar nominee and winner.
Hey, I've got him in there. I agree with you completely.
Really?
I don't have him in there. I don't have him in there only for one reason. I think that, Amazon has only broken through at the Emmys with Transparent. And other than the Golden Globe win for Thornton, there's been almost no buzz on Goliath.
Yeah.
People are not really paying attention to that show. I know it's a David E. Kelly show, but the question is, who does he knock out?
That's a big question.
If Thornton gets in, who do they knock out?
Kyle Chandler.
I already have him knocked out for Sterling K. So
I already have him knocked out too.
Who else?
He could potentially take out Matthew Rhys.
Matthew Rhys. I think Matthew Rhys.
I've got Matthew Rhys in there. I've got Kevin Spacey, Leo Schreiber, Bob Odenkirk. So who are wait, do I not have Rami Malek in there? No, wait, maybe it's,
Maybe
he knocks out Leo. Rami Malek might not come back. I mean, Mr. Robot is not as highly touted and buzzed about as it was
really
last year.
That's right, isn't it? I mean, Mr. Robot is almost dead in the water. I'm very sorry to say but I don't know. It's a tough one.
Yeah, so I mean, he's vulnerable certainly, but I think you know, look, I mean, if not Billy Bob, then like you said, Matt Smith, perhaps Anthony Hopkins in Westworld.
If he wasn't
Justin
supporting, I would
Theroux.
absolutely put him in there. But, yeah.
Who?
Wow.
Yeah, Justin Theroux. Look out for Justin Theroux.
Oh, that would be.
Yeah.
I'm saving all of my like begging for the drama actress side, but yes, Justin Theroux. we should have won one by now. Look, let's move on to the drama actresses. For me, the most exciting category is actually drama supporting actress, and even supporting actor. But with the drama actresses, for months and months and months, it was Claire Foy, Claire Foy, and Claire Foy, and now it's really, I think, Elizabeth Moss has this in the bag. Agreed?
I think she
agree.
could
I hope
still.
so.
I think Claire Foy will still pose a threat. I don't think she's going to win in a landslide.
No.
If Claire Foy doesn't win this year, she probably will win next year because she can only play the Picard 2 years before they have to recast her. So, but yeah, I think Elizabeth Moss has this on the IOU, and man, she was so good in that finale.
Oh my God. She had so many scenes in that finale where I was just, yeah.
Oh,
I think Carrie.
and
I think Carrie.
Go
I
ahead,
think
Tom.
Carrie Coon could. I think Carrie Coon
Yeah.
could be a spoiler.
I hope so.
if
Now,
she can
I mean,
get in,
I agree.
If she gets in,
I think she's getting in, and I'll tell you why. I think it's going to be like
Okay.
Laurie Metcalf last year with her 3 nominations. I think, you know, the last 2 episodes of Fargo airing during voting, I think a lot of people have said, wow, she's a really good actress. She's in The Leftovers as well. So, I mean, she could just be one of those people that they're checking off in any category that she's nominated in. So I think she's certainly going to get in there.
Tony, why are you feeling so confident? Because I am really not feeling confident at all about this.
for some of the same reasons that Zach just said, but also the fact that, you know, the season finale, the series finale was called The Book of Nora. That is her character. The episode is her. Plus you have Fargo. Now, whether or not one helps her in one category or the other, I just think that we're going to see another Laurie Metcalf type situation where you've got these 2 performances in 2 different categories, and they're undeniable. So I really think look out for her. She is as hot as can be right now.
I think. Go ahead.
I was just you go ahead. I was just going to say something a little off topic.
Well, I just think I've been burned so many times about this show, and I can't bear to have more disappointment. I'm really just like, I'm just managing my expectations because I'm not prepared to spend another day just being so cranky about The Leftovers being ignored. So I have Carrie Coon in 4th place. We're all probably gonna regret this, having The Leftovers in there, but I think if it doesn't do it, then oh well, we've given it a good try. I think in terms of the other names, Robin Wright, Christine Baranski, Kerry Russell, they're all in the mix for nominations. Zach, what else did you want to say?
I was going to say, I mean, you just read off the list of nominations, and somebody I've left off of my predictions, and you didn't mention her either, Viola Davis, who just won an Oscar.
Oh,
I mean,
I have her in.
I don't know if she certainly could get back in. I mean, like we've said it before, and we'll say it again, they love to nominate the same people over and over again. So maybe we're a little foolish not having either her or Claire Danes in there either. I don't think Taraji P. Henson's coming back.
No.
And I mean, we know the winner from last year is not coming back either, so there's at least one open spot. So,
you know, I'm already imagining Elizabeth Moss walking up that stage and getting that trophy. I just can already see it happening. It just seems so like set in stone for me. And that's one thing that I'm going to be very disappointed about. Imagine if she's not even nominated, all right? So we've got to just be very careful about this.
That would be Claire Foy's best day ever.
Let's not even put that. Yeah, that would be like Claire Foy, you know, doing a jig in her costume.
You know, like it was only 2 months ago where I was thinking, you know, Kerry Russell might have this. She might actually be able to take this to Claire Foy. And now I just think this is Elizabeth Moss's to lose. She's got the IOU. It's so timely. And then she's also just given the best performance on telly as well. So really, I just think, I can't wait. We've got to move on to supporting. Let's go to the actors first. Everyone's been raving about John Lithgow, and it seems that he's already got this one locked up. That's probably the case, but I'm thinking Ron Cephas-Jones and David Harbour, they really do need to also have their speeches prepared. Anyone else agree with me on that?
I mean, you know, I would think both of those guys have a shot. I also, I mean, I feel kind of crazy, but I have 3 guys from Better Call Saul in there right now.
Wow.
I think that in addition to Jonathan Banks, Michael McKean or Giancarlo Esposito could both get in there as well.
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, I think especially Giancarlo, you know, there's probably a lot of people who think he should have won for Breaking Bad already, and there's probably some
I think if
residual
Giancarlo comes in, he's going to take Jonathan Banks out. I don't see Jonathan Banks staying in there with another Better Call Saul person in there.
Well, I think you missed. I also said that I think Michael McKean could get in there. I think all 3 of them could get in there, additionally to Michael McKean.
Wow.
It's interesting because I think Michael McKean certainly deserves it for this season. The problem is he's had good stuff in the previous 2 seasons and hasn't gotten nominated. But I'm hoping that because of, you know, the nature of his arc this season, including in the season finale, spoiler alert. But if they overlook Michael McKean, it's an oversight of just biblical proportion.
I have Jared Harris in there. Am I crazy or
No, you're not crazy.
Get in.
No, you're not.
Get in there.
He's excellent. I don't have him in. I wish I did. I have Ed Harris and Jeffrey Wright and them in my last
I just don't see why there's been no love anywhere from any group for the men of Westworld.
You're right. I think I'm going to revisit it.
I know they're all past nominees and winners, but they haven't had the buzz.
I took Ed Harris out, and I kept Jeffrey Wright in.
Yeah, I think
the worst thing that could happen for John Lithgow is if Jared Harris gets nominated.
I don't think so, because I think the difference between the two is there is so much about John Lithgow's performance, and it's all been about him. And even based on episodes, John Lithgow would win this. He has that one single episode that is literally about him, and that was their submission for writing, was Assassins.
But wasn't that the same thing that happened with Peter Dinklage and Kit Harington last year? Kit Harington was the center of Battle of the Bastards.
But I think they were more evenly matched. I think John Lithgow, an American playing the Prime Minister of Great Britain to the level he transforms, I think he still has it. I don't think it matters in this situation.
What do you think, Zach?
It certainly helps. Well, I was going to say it certainly helps that he did just win a SAG award for the performance.
And just to say that about the SAG award, sorry, I won't interrupt you again, but they've never in the history of the SAG awards, the drama category for the men, given it to a supporting player before. He made history when he won that SAG award. So I go ahead. I just wanted to point out.
Yeah, I mean, this is I think it's a much more competitive category than we're probably giving it credit for, but I would put John Lithgow as the front runner, even if Jared Harris gets nominated. By the way, poor Jared Harris. I mean, if he had just been in one less episode, we'd be talking about him as the front runner for drama guest actor.
Yeah, in a very weak category. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
I just think
don't say that, because Chris won't be mad because he wants Gerald McCraney, and so do I, because it's my only chance to be part of the Gold Derby bump.
You know what? I just when I'm thinking about what moved me in this category in drama supporting, John Lithgow is amazing as a like a masterpiece in the way he did his performance. But Ron Cephas-Jones and David Harbour really got to me this season. David Harbour in that finale of Stranger Things, when he's revisiting the death of his daughter, just kills me. His performance was so beautiful, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that. I would be giving him the award, or maybe Ron Cephas-Jones, because his work in Memphis and we'll just in the whole series.
It would be a far tighter race. I think it would be a completely tighter race. But John Lithgow's worked with everyone. He's done so much.
Wonderful. And let's not forget that David Harbour's SAG speech, which I talked to him about, is still one that for the records. And if he is nominated, he did lean heavily towards submitting the finale if he's nominated.
We need to watch out for Stranger Things if he gets nominated.
I mean, we really I have
truly
Stranger Things in #1. We didn't really talk about who we're thinking of winning because I think that's always so premature. Let's just worry about the nominations. But I think Stranger Things is a favorite. In drama supporting actress, to me, that is the most competitive category. I could just list 20 people that could be nominated in this one. I've got Tanya Newton, Chrissy Metz, Millie Bobby Brown, Winona Ryder, Ann Dowd, and Uzo Aduba. That's my 6. It took me a while to get to that 6. I want to know what you guys think we should watch out. I'm going to call someone out so we're not all just like screaming at each other. I'm going to ask you, Zach, what should we be watching out for in drama supporting actress?
Well, I pretty much have the same, except for I still have Constance Zimmer in there from last year. You know, I think that listen, I'm a big fan of Unreal. You know, it's like I wouldn't even call it a guilty pleasure. It's just a great TV show, and Constance Zimmer is fantastic. She should have won last year, so I think she's getting back in. But you're right. I mean, this is very competitive. Ann Dowd, if anybody's getting nominated from The Handmaid's Tale from that supporting actress category, it's going to be her. She's magnificent. I wonder if both Millie Bobby Brown and Winona Ryder can get in for Stranger Things, or if they're just going to put their support behind one or the other. You know, we don't often see children nominated for Emmys.
No. Tony?
Go ahead. Finish up, Zach.
Sorry, Zach.
No, I was just, I'm pretty much done. Go ahead.
I agree with everything you just said. If I was voting myself, the one that I would look out for, and I think she has a long shot chance, is Yvonne Strahovski from The Handmaid's Tale. To me, she is the supreme supporting performance on that show, of taking a character who is so on the surface, you know, such a villain, but still imbuing her with a certain amount of humanity, that there's a certain amount of empathy for her. You know, I think the one thing that could hurt Ann Dowd is the fact that her character is not in The Handmaid's Tale very much. But I think that she could get in with residual love from The Leftovers. I really think this is a real toss-up. I think this category could go. I don't think there's a clear front runner in this category.
Amanda?
Yeah, I have the 4 we are all thinking of. Although if I think one of those 4 is on the bubble, it probably would be Millie Bobby Brown, just based on the child teenager thing. I have Constance Zimmer in there. I've been saying for over a year she has the episode. If you haven't seen episode 209, it's episode 209 where she's like, she finds out she can't have children. You get everything you love to hate about her. And then she breaks down and starts wailing and beating TV screens. And at the end, after like 50 emotions, she snaps right out of it and goes, okay, let's get him, which is what you want out of her. She would definitely be competitive on tape. And then I have Constance Zimmer. I'm sorry, Vanessa Kirby. I have Vanessa Kirby. And the reason why I don't have one of The Handmaid's Tale is basically for the reasons you guys have articulated. One's going to say Ann Dowd, which she doesn't have the episode. And one's going to say Yvonne Strahovski. I could see how people would go with Samira Wiley, because God, she's so good in those last 2 episodes.
I know.
I think they're going to kind of can't. I think if they had only submitted 2, or maybe. Yeah, it's funny. We haven't even mentioned Joseph Fiennes. I know we just talked about actor, but he's well known enough. He could sneak in there. He might be the supporting player to get in just on name.
Do you all think that Orange is the New Black is completely dead? Because I'm really hoping that Uzo Aduba gets recognised for her amazing performance last season. Not the one that's just dropped now, but the one from last time. No one's talking about Orange anymore, and that's really disappointing.
I mean, if anybody's going to get nominated from it, it's going to be her. Yeah. You know, the fact that she didn't get nominated last year after winning 2 years in a row in different categories. But yeah, it just, I don't know. I think the buzz is sort of down on that show, but it could be like Homeland. You remember like when Homeland dropped out in the 3rd season, which was universally despised, not despised, not the right word, but anyway.
No, it's the right word. It's the right word.
I was trying to think of a more delicate. All right, so the 3rd season of Orange is the New Black was not the best by any stretch of nomination, but everyone liked season 4. So that maybe if they're still watching it, it could get back in.
Yeah.
And knock
I just
out
think
one
there's
of these
too much
issues.
new. I honestly think,
I agree. Yeah.
I think that's the problem with anyone who's trying to get back in, or anyone from a returning show. Because I think, you know, at the end of last year, I was thinking maybe Ray Seahorn could get in, or maybe Paula Malcolmson from Ray Donovan, who has a good season, could have gotten in. But there's just so many new performers.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard for Winona Ryder, but her ideal scenario would be Millie Bobby Brown doesn't get in, because then she's the movie star in the category.
Yeah.
With
and then she's got
no chance of being canceled out by her co-star. I know that makes me horrible.
Whatever.
But
And it's just a sign of how much new stuff we're some of the things we're not even mentioning. You know, shows like 13 Reasons Why, which has certainly touched a nerve in the pop culture, particularly with younger people. Is it too young? Probably, but I don't think we should completely discount it.
Yeah, that's another good point.
Or Catherine Langford.
Catherine Langford. And that whole, this
Kate Walsh.
Kate Walsh, yeah, great cast in that show, even if some people had issues with some of the other elements.
Ann Dowd's going to win Best Drama Guest Actress.
Yeah,
so.
just, we have like 1 minute to talk about guests. Ann Dowd and Alexis Bledel, either of those must
This is like my dream come true. My favorite show from when I was.
For me, even Laverne Cox in Orange, just blew me away. And in actor, everyone wants Gerald McRaney. I think that's a very boring category, unfortunately. I'd go with John Cameron Mitchell from The Good Fight. He played like a Milo Yiannopoulos type character. He was fantastic. Or Orlando Jones from American Gods. I'd say
the best news for stars would be if they could get Cloris Leachman in there, because then they're going to break through on the drama side at least.
Yes.
That could help, but it could help them long term with like maybe getting them to watch Katrina Balfe and Outlander, and you know, let's just get stars another Emmy acting nomination. If they can't get Cloris Leachman in there, then they really hate that network for something. Come on, they will nominate her for anything.
Yeah, that's true. All right, last final word before we head off to comedy. Anyone want to have a final word?
It's interesting.
How many nominations will This Is Us get, and how many of them will be not acting nominations?
Okay. And my final thought is sci-fi fantasy is going to take over the Emmys, and it's about bloody time. Okay.